For 3 straight years, Luna never disobeyed a single command. She wasn't just any dog. She was a rescue, a Belgian Malinois with a coat like worn leather and eyes that seemed to understand too much. When Officer Ray Torres first met her, she was skittish, silent, barely trusting a hand near her food bowl. But under Ray's care, she transformed, and by the time she joined patrol, she was the best-trained dog on the force. "She's special," Ray told his captain once. "Not just smart, she feels things." Everyone agreed. Luna could sniff out danger like magic. She'd found missing. Kids tracked a runaway felon through 3 miles of woods and once alerted to a buried weapon no human ever would have seen. She never got it wrong. That's why what happened that night hit Ray like a punch to the chest. It was a routine patrol. Quiet neighborhood. Houses sleeping behind drawn curtains. Nothing unusual. Ray drove slow. Luna sat in the back, ears up, eyes sharp. Then without warning, she stood. Nose to the window, tail stiff. "You see something?" Ray asked. She barked once. Short, sharp. Then again. Louder, urgent. Ray slowed down. "Easy, girl. What is it?" Luna suddenly lunged toward the passenger. Tore barking harder now. Frantic, unrelenting. They were in front of a 2-story house. Blue curtains, lights off, nothing out of place. Ray parked. "All right, let's check it out." They got out. Luna pulled on the leash, straining toward the house like she had to get there. The house was silent still. Ray knocked once, then again. No answer. "Probably no one home," he muttered. But Luna didn't care. She sat, then barked up at the dark window above, her ears flattened, her body trembling. "Luna, let's go." She didn't move. "I said heel," Ray repeated. "Firm now." She whined, barked again, then looked at him, like she was pleading. "I don't get it," Ray whispered, glancing back at the house. "What do you know that I don't?" A porch light flicked on suddenly. A shadow moved behind the curtain. Ray tensed. The curtain dropped back into place. Then silence. Luna kept staring, watching. Unshaken. Ray exhaled. "We'll come back tomorrow," as they walked away. Luna turned her head one last time, eyes still fixed on that window. Ray didn't know it yet, but something inside that house was already breaking. And Luna, she had just broken her first rule to stop it. Ray couldn't stop thinking about that house. The next evening he drove past again. Same blue curtains, same stillness. But Luna was already reacting. Before they even stopped, she stood, ears locked forward, body tense. "You really want to go back there, huh?" Ray asked, trying to sound calm. Luna let out a low growl. It wasn't just noise, it was a warning. Ray felt it in his gut. He parked, in front. "Let's do this again." They stepped onto the porch. Luna pulled harder this time, tail stiff, nose to the door. Ray knocked, louder than the night before. "Hello? SFPD, just checking in." No answer. He waited, glanced around. Porch light off. No sounds inside. But Luna pawed the door, whining now. "All right, girl," Ray said. "There's gotta be a reason." He circled the house. Backyard gate was locked. No open windows. Still, Luna stayed fixed on the front door, hackles raised, eyes wide. Something was off. Ray knocked again. "Is anyone in there? We got a report of suspicious activity." Still nothing. He crouched beside Luna. "What are you hearing that I can't?" Just then, the curtain twitched. Ray stood fast. "I saw that. Someone's in there." Luna barked twice. The sound echoed across the street. That's when a neighbor stepped outside. "She hasn't left the house in days," the woman said quietly. "The lady who lives there, I heard yelling 2 nights ago." Ray looked at the house again. "What kind of yelling?" "Like someone crying." Then it went silent. Ray's stomach turned. "Did you call it in?" She shook her head. "Didn't want to get involved." Luna barked again, pawing the door harder now, almost frantic. Ray radioed, "It in." Unit 16 requesting wellness check at 342 Maple. Female resident, possible domestic disturbance. K9 is indicating distress. He waited. No one came to the door. Luna lay down by the frame, nose pressed against it like she was listening. Ray sat beside her. We'll wait. Minutes passed. Still silence. But Luna never moved. And Ray? He was done doubting her. Whatever was behind that door, Luna had sensed it first. Not with training, not with logic, with something deeper. And she wasn't going anywhere until someone listened. By sunrise, Ray was back in front of the house. He didn't sleep much. Luna had paced all night, uneasy. She never did that. Something in her wouldn't settle. As they pulled up, Luna stood before the engine even stopped. Her body leaned toward the door like she already knew where they were. Ray knocked again, firm but calm. SFPD, just checking in. Nothing. Then the curtain shifted. A woman appeared. Her face pale, eyes wide and red. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Thin arms, faded sweater, hair pulled back like it hadn't been brushed. Morning, ma'am, Ray said gently. We were here last night, just following up. Is everything all right? She didn't open the door, just looked through the glass, voice low. Yes, we're fine. Luna stepped forward, sniffing the air, then let out a deep growl. Ray looked at her, then back at the woman. Mind if we speak? In person? She shook her head. It's early, my son's asleep, I can't talk now. What's your name? Ray asked. Emily. Well, Emily, we had a noise complaint a couple nights ago. Neighbors heard something. She blinked fast, then forced a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Just the TV. Luna pressed closer to the door, whining now, pacing in front like she wanted in. Emily looked down at her. That's your dog? She's my partner. Ray nodded. And she's concerned. Emily looked over her shoulder, then back again. Her eyes shifted like she was calculating something. She's wrong, Emily said quickly. There's nothing going on, I'm just tired, that's all. Ray waited. Silence. Well, if you're sure. But if you need anything at all, you can call me, day or night. She didn't respond, just pulled the curtain closed. Ray stared at the door for a moment, then turned back to Luna. She stood stiff, ears pinned, tail low. She looked worried, really worried. As they walked to the cruiser, Ray spoke softly. She looked terrified, didn't she, girl? Luna gave a soft whimper and looked back at the house again. Ray followed her gaze. The curtain didn't move this time, just hung there. Still? She wanted to say something, Ray murmured, but she couldn't. Luna let out a low whine again. Ray opened the car door, but Luna didn't jump in. She sat, staring at that house, waiting. He sighed. I hear you, girl, I do. But we can't force our way in without cause. Finally, Luna climbed into the car, but even then, she didn't settle. She kept watching that window like something inside was crying for help, and no one else could hear it. 2 nights later, Luna wouldn't stop pacing. Ray tried everything. A walk, her favorite chew, even the old blanket she loved, nothing worked. Finally, around midnight, she sat by the front door and let out a long, low whine. You want to go back there, don't you? Ray asked. She looked at him, then the door, then back again. Ray grabbed his keys. All right, but this is the last time unless we find something. They drove in silence, Luna standing the whole way, eyes locked forward. As soon as they turned onto the street, she barked once, then again louder. Whoa, Ray said, tightening his grip on the wheel. He stopped the car and Luna jumped out before he could even call her. She ran straight to the same house, planting herself on the porch, barking loud, wild, and desperate. Neighbors' lights flicked on, curtains moved. Ray rushed up. Luna, quiet. But she didn't stop. Her voice cut through the night like a siren. That's when Ray heard it. At first he thought it was the wind. But it wasn't, it was a cry, a child's cry, so soft it could have been missed. He froze. Is that he whispered. Luna howled, sharp, pleading. Ray pressed his ear to the door. There it was again. A muffled, weak sound from deep inside. Stay back, he said, radioing in. Unit 16, possible child in distress. Same address as previous wellness check. Requesting immediate backup. Then he knocked hard. SFPD, open up. No response. He knocked again. Emily, it's Ray Torres. I hear your child. Open the door. Still nothing. Luna barked louder, scratching the door with her front paws. From inside, a shadow moved. Then a click. The door opened just a crack. Emily stood there, eyes red, lips trembling. Please, she whispered. He's not well. Let us help, Ray said, softly. She stepped aside. Luna rushed in, nose down, running straight down the hallway. She stopped at a locked door and barked nonstop. Ray followed. Is he in there? Emily nodded, covering her face with shaking hands. I didn't know what else to do. Ray forced the door open. Inside, a little boy sat on the floor, wrapped in a thin blanket, eyes barely open. Luna gently nudged his hand with her nose, and for the first time in hours, the boy smiled. Ray stared at her. You knew, girl. You knew all along. The backup arrived fast. Red and blue lights lit up the street, neighbors watching from behind windows. But inside the house, the air felt heavy, like something awful had been hiding for too long. Ray stood near the hallway as two officers entered. That's when a man appeared at the top of the stairs. He was tall, sharp-jawed, and angry. I'm Carl. This is my house. You need a warrant. Ray stepped forward. We received a child distress call. We're within our rights. Carl came down fast. There's no emergency here. My wife overreacts. She's not well. Emily stood behind him, silent. She didn't even lift her eyes. Luna growled low, ears flat. Her body faced Carl, but her eyes kept shifting to the hallway door. Ray saw it then. Scratches on the knob. Small. Shallow. Like fingernails. Move aside, he said. Carl didn't budge. That room's locked for a reason. It's storage. Luna lunged suddenly, dragging the leash from Ray's hand. She slammed into the door with both paws, barking loud nonstop. Get your dog off my property, Carl yelled, but no one moved. Ray stepped beside Luna. What's in there? I told you, Carl snapped. Just boxes. Ray looked at Emily. Is that true? Her lips parted. No sound. Emily, he said again, softer. What's in that room? She shook her head slightly, then whispered. He locked Noah in there. Ray turned. Break it open. One officer nodded and stepped forward. A hard kick. The wood cracked. Second hit. It gave in. The smell hit first. Sweat. Old milk. Something worse. And there he was. Noah. The boy sat curled in the corner, face pale, lips dry. He didn't even cry. Just blinked slowly like the light hurt his eyes. Oh my God. One of the officers breathed. Carl shouted. You can't do this. She's unstable. This isn't... Ray pulled out his cuffs. You're done, Carl. As they arrested him, Luna walked into the room. She didn't bark now. She stepped slowly, then sat beside the boy and licked his hand. Noah looked up at her, and for the first time in days, he reached out. Emily dropped to her knees, sobbing. Ray stood in the doorway, heart pounding. You saved him, Luna, he whispered. If you hadn't kept pushing. Luna didn't look back. She stayed with Noah as if she'd known him all along. That locked door hadn't fooled her. Nothing ever did. Noah didn't speak. He just looked around the room like he wasn't sure if it was real. His tiny hands shook. His knees were pulled, tight to his chest. The blankets were thin and dirty. There were crumbs in a plastic bowl and a half-empty water bottle on its side. Luna moved first. She didn't rush. She just stepped gently across the floor and lay down beside him, resting, her head near his legs. Her eyes never left his face. Noah blinked at her, then slowly reached out. He touched her ear. That was the moment Emily dropped to the floor. She crawled to her son, tears falling as she reached for him. "Noah, baby, it's Mommy," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." He flinched at first, but Luna didn't move, so he didn't either. "I didn't know how to stop him," she sobbed. "I thought if I followed the rules he wouldn't hurt you. I was wrong." Ray stood near the door watching them. He felt frozen in place. One of the medics stepped forward. "We need to check the boy, ma'am." Emily nodded, brushing Noah's hair back. "Okay, sweetheart, these people are here to help." The medic crouched beside them, speaking gently. "Hey, buddy, I'm Dan. Can I take a quick look? We'll be really gentle." Noah didn't answer. But he didn't resist either. Luna stayed still, her body like a shield between him and everything else. Emily kept talking, voice cracking. "He said if I called for help, he'd take Noah and disappear. He said no one would believe me." Ray crouched beside her. "Emily, you did the right thing. You stayed alive. You kept him alive." She nodded slowly. Luna knew. She wouldn't. Stop. She didn't give up on him. Ray looked at Luna. She never gives up. As the medic wrapped a warm blanket around Noah, the boy reached for Luna again. This time, he held onto her collar and didn't let go. "She's safe," Ray said softly. "He knows it." Luna pressed her nose gently against the boy's cheek. Just once. That little gesture, so simple, so soft, was what finally made Emily smile. "I thought no one could hear us," she whispered. But she did. Ray nodded. Luna hears what most people miss. And in that moment, in that dark, hidden room, surrounded by fear and silence, a single dog gave a little boy the one thing he hadn't felt in days: safety. At the station, Emily sat across from Ray, her hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea she hadn't touched. Luna lay at her feet, her head resting beside Emily's chair. Noah was safe in another room with a medic and a social worker, finally sleeping. Ray watched Emily closely. She looked like she hadn't breathed in years. "I don't even know where to start," she whispered. "Start with the truth," Ray said gently. "We're here now. No more hiding." Emily nodded slowly. "It started right after Noah was born. Carl changed. He wasn't just angry. He was cruel. He told me I was a terrible mother. He said the world was dangerous and Noah needed protecting. From me, Ray stayed quiet. He took my phone, cut off my friends, my parents. He said if I left, he'd take Noah and disappear. He knew people. He said the law was on his side." Luna lifted her head for a second, then laid it back down close to Emily's shoe. "I believed him," Emily said. "I really did." Ray spoke softly. "Did anyone ever see the bruises?" She shook her head. "He made sure no one did. And I was too scared. He said I was crazy, that no one would help me." She looked down at Luna, tears welling. But she helped. She saw what no one else did. Ray nodded. "She's always been good at that." Emily leaned down, gently touching Luna's fur. "She saved him," she whispered. "She saved us both." Ray's throat tightened. He thought about the first night, the moment Luna refused to leave. They'd almost driven away. "You ever think about what would have happened if Luna hadn't barked that night?" Ray asked. Emily wiped her eyes. "I do. Every hour." Ray leaned back. "We'll make sure Carl can't hurt either of you again. But we'll need your help to prove it." Emily nodded. "I'll tell them everything." She reached for Luna, again resting her hand on the dog's back. "She didn't just find my son," Emily whispered. "She reminded me I wasn't crazy. I wasn't alone." Luna closed her eyes. In that quiet moment, nothing else mattered. The worst part of their story had been spoken, and now, it was time to fight back. The courtroom was silent. Emily sat at the witness stand, her hands trembling. Across the room, Carl's defense attorney paced, his voice sharp. "Mrs. Thompson," he began, Isn't it true that you have a history of anxiety? That your perception of events might be unreliable? Emily's voice wavered. I was scared, but everything I said is true. The attorney smirked. Fear can distort reality, can't it? Courthouse dogs are. Foundation Ray clenched his fists, watching as Emily struggled. Luna, lying beside him, sensed the tension. She stood, her gaze fixed on Emily. Judge Harris noticed. Officer Torres, is your K-9 trying to approach the witness? Ray nodded. Yes, Your Honor. Luna has been closely involved in this case. New Jersey criminal civil lawyer. The judge considered for a moment. Very well, if there's no objection, the dog may approach, Carl's attorney scoffed. This is highly irregular. Judge Harris raised an eyebrow. Noted. Proceed, officer. Luna trotted over to Emily, gently placing her head on Emily's lap. Emily's eyes filled with tears as she stroked Luna's fur. She was the only one who knew, Emily whispered. The courtroom watched in silence. Ray stepped forward. Your Honor. May I testify? Judge Harris nodded. Proceed. Ray took a deep breath. Luna has been my partner for 3 years. She's trained to detect distress, danger, and deception. That night, she disobeyed me for the first time, insisting something was wrong at the Thompson residence. He paused, looking at the jury. Her instincts led us to discover Noah, Emily's son, locked away and neglected. Luna's actions were pivotal. In uncovering the truth, the defense attorney interjected. Are we to believe a dog's behavior is credible evidence? Ray met his gaze. In this case, yes. Luna's training and instincts have saved lives before. She sensed the danger Emily and Noah were in. Judge Harris addressed the jury. Members of the jury, you will consider the testimony and evidence presented, including the role of the K-9 unit, in your deliberations. As the proceedings continued, Luna remained by Emily's side, a silent guardian. The courtroom had witnessed not just a testimony, but a bond between a woman and a dog that transcended words. The courtroom was silent as the jury filed in. Emily sat frozen, hands gripping the edge of her seat. Luna rested at her feet, calm but alert. Ray stood just behind them, watching every face. The foreman cleared his throat. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty on all counts. Emily gasped. Her hands flew to her face as she began to sob. Loud, unfiltered relief. Luna stood and pressed her head gently against Emily's shoulder. She wasn't trained to do that. She just knew. Ray crouched beside them, placing a hand on Luna's back. You did it, girl. Across the room, Carl's face hardened, but this time there was no power in his stare, no more fear, just silence as he was led away in cuffs. Outside, the news spread fast. Reporters called Luna a hero. Neighbors who once stayed quiet now cheered her name. Social media lit up with her photo beside Noah, their bond impossible to ignore. Ray laughed softly as he watched it all happen. You followed your heart, girl, he said, kneeling beside her. And you were right. Emily knelt too, tears still running down her cheeks. I don't know how to thank her, she whispered. Luna just wagged her tail once. She doesn't need thanks, Ray said. Just love. Emily nodded. She gave us that before we even knew we needed it. In the days that followed, Luna became a local legend. Kids waved when she passed. Officers from other districts asked about her training. But Ray always said the same thing. You can teach skills, but not heart. Luna leads with hers. At home, Noah slept better. He held a small stuffed dog at night, one that looked just like Luna. And every time she visited, he'd run to her, arms wide. Luna always met him halfway, and though she never spoke, her eyes always said the same thing. I've got you. Justice wasn't just about courtrooms and verdicts. Sometimes it started with a single bark in the dark. Sometimes it looked like a dog who refused to leave. And this time it looked like Luna, quiet, loyal, and brave, standing beside a woman who finally got to breathe again. It had been 4 quiet months, Emily and Noah now lived in a small home outside the city. A backyard, a safe school, and no more locked doors. Life wasn't perfect, but it was finally peaceful. Every weekend they visited Ray, and every time, before Emily even knocked, Luna was already at the front door, tail wagging, nose pressed to the glass. "She knows," Ray would say, opening the door. "She always knows when it's you." Noah would run straight into Luna's chest. "Luna," he'd shout, "I missed you." Luna would gently nudge him back, licking his cheek like nothing in the world mattered more. This Saturday was no different. Emily watched them play in the yard while Ray brought out lemonade. Her eyes were brighter now. Her shoulders no longer curled inward. She looked like someone learning how to breathe again. "She's still the reason we're here," Emily said softly. Ray nodded. "She changed a lot of lives that day." Emily smiled as Luna lay beside Noah, letting him brush her fur with a toy comb. "I was too scared to cry for help, but she barked for me." Ray looked down. "She disobeyed me that night, first and only time." "And thank God she did," Emily said. There was silence for a moment, only broken by Noah's laughter. Emily turned. "We're getting a dog," she said. "From a rescue program for survivors." Ray raised a brow. "Really?" "Yeah. Not to replace Luna. That's impossible, but to help Noah. And me, it just feels right." Ray smiled. "You'll be giving one a new life, just like Luna gave you one." They sat on the porch watching the sun go down. Noah held on to Luna's collar, his small body leaning into her side. "She still protects him," Emily whispered. "She always will," Ray replied. "That's who she is." Luna lifted her head and looked at Emily, calm, steady, understanding. It was more than just a look. It was a promise that no matter what came next, they weren't alone anymore. Luna hadn't just broken a command. She'd broken a silence no one else could hear. And in doing so, she didn't just save a little boy or a mother. She gave them something rare, a new beginning.